Presentation. Okay, today we are going to talk about some fun ways we can use AI, for example, to create a smart task manager app. So I had an inspiration after I was talking to my colleague Edo, who is a system engineer, and he shared how he's constantly being called by everyone, including me, and that's interrupting his workday. He mentioned how difficult it is to remember all the tasks he was asked to do. And with so many distractions, he mentioned that it would be great if there was an app that could record all the tasks for him during the conversation and maybe even execute those tasks. That would make his day a lot less chaotic. Okay, I hope you are already getting an idea what this app is going to be, but we are going to go through a handful of agenda items just to ensure a perfect separation of concerns along the way. And my goal is to use as simple terms as possible to see how we can make something very powerful just by using AI. And I just want to show you how it's easy to make something pretty cool with just using AI. Okay. So while I was doing some research for this presentation, I came across something pretty surprising. Apparently, when it comes to translating conversation to text, humans make mistakes 30% of the time, which is a lot. But get this, AI only messes up around 5 to 10% of the time. And it really made me think about how much room there is to cut down on errors by just letting AI handle some of the heavy lifting. Even AI understands some dialects better than us. Sometimes we can completely be unable to translate different dialects that we are not used to. It's kind of wild to realize how AI can perform much better than us in some situations. So this is also part of my inspiration for creating something like this, especially in today's day where there are a lot of powerful tools that are already prepared for us. And you will see how we can use some of the tools that I'm going to present that already have some integrated learning models that are already well taught to work with human language. Okay, also I'm going to show you how I'm going to make my colleagues' life easier just by figuring out how we can solve this problem of creating an app that will listen to the conversation either on a phone or Teams or any kind of meeting, and then create those tasks or even execute them. So I thought about how I could make that app that I had an idea about, and I figured it will probably be a complex solution, but then I started researching for it and I found out a really simple solution to a complex problem. Here's what I figured. I need some AI that will translate speech to text, then some AI model, natural language processing model, that will figure out those tasks in that text that we provided to them. And then I figured we would probably need to get those tasks in some formatted JSON or anything that we like to have just to be formatted in some structure. And then I can just make any simple API that will use any kind of automation framework and then execute those tasks. Okay, I'm going to explain each of the solution components just to make sure that all features that are used in this application are explained, and just to show you how they work in the background. For this app, I used Azure services simply because it's the easiest for me, because I use Azure every day while I work, and I just automatically, when I started working on this, figured, let's see what is there on Azure that can be provided for these kinds of solution. And also I found out that these features from Azure are really powerful. I will show you how they work. But first I'm going to explain Azure Speech. Azure Speech does the transcription of the audio or the conversation that is provided. And it has a built real-time translation of speech also from one language to another, which is really powerful. And it also has a speaker recognition. So while there is a conversation between two people or multiple people, it out of the box returns you how many speakers there are and also categorizes them, so you can use that if you need it. It's really cool and it's really important for my application. I will show you why in the next slides. Okay. The next feature of Azure that I use is Azure CLU. This is the one that does the task recognition in the text that we provide to them. It uses natural language processing and machine learning in the background to analyze text and determine meaning of that text. So natural language processing is a field of artificial intelligence that is focused on enabling machines to understand, interpret, and generate human language in a way that is meaningful for both. So also how it works. So in Azure, there's a text analytics API that provides pre-trained models for several common NLP tasks. For example, it can determine is the sentiment of a speech positive, negative, neutral, or mixed. It also extracts the most important terms in the text. So, for example, it could, if we are talking about AI, it will definitely figure out that AI is something important in our conversation. And also, it's able to identify entities. So that's all pre-learned. It just comes out of the box. It can identify things like people, places, dates, some organization, and even more. So also it's really cool that it detects the language of the provided text out of the box. You don't need to provide that to the CLU. I will also show you how CLU works, just because I was really amazed by how it works and how it's really simple, just because you can also get Azure CLU feature in your free subscription, and it also allows you to create your models, use all pre-trained models, and I will show you also all the things that it allows you to do. Let me just log in. I forgot to do this before the presentation, sorry. Okay, I logged in into my Azure subscription, and I will show you. So also it has a specific page. You cannot just access it by going to portal. So it has it goes to language.cognitive.azure.com, so you can find that there. Let's hope I selected the right one. Okay, I did. Okay, I will show you how my project looks. It's really simple. You will definitely think about trying this yourself. So immediately when you open your project, you get to schema definition, and there you define the meanings of your text. So if the purpose is to find the tasks in the conversation, you will define all the tasks that are specific to your domain. So for my domain, in this case, it was important to have some development task, order something task, schedule meeting, and send the email task. And you can just simply add any of those intents here. Also here you can see that it's already explained what is the intent. So you don't even have to know anything about AI before you access this. You can just read this description and simply find what it means. So here it says, if this sentence is book me a flight to Rio next week, it will fall under book a flight intent. So that's something actually that I also needed. So it's pretty easy to use this. Also, I Also, I did add this intent because it was important for me when the conversation is going on. So, for example, if you are on the meeting and you are talking about some tasks with your boss, and your boss says, okay, can you do some development task, implement something on your application by tomorrow, it's really important for you to say yes or sure or some kind of those sentences to confirm that you are able to finish it by that due date. If you don't say that, then we will not create the task because it doesn't make sense to create that task with that due date. Also, the next tab, you have the data labeling. This is what I mentioned by entities at the beginning, because that's actually in my case, I needed date, time, and location entity. For my tasks, it's important to know date, time, or location of execution of the task. Also, it has this little wizard that always bothers me. I don't know how to turn it off. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can define entities and also how you can train your model for your application. So here you have that option. So you can just select any kind of intent that I explained previously and define some sentence that you think falls under that meaning. So, for example, I added a couple of those here, and I just simply can here mark the date or just mark the time or anything that is really important for me. So you just do this, select the date, and the model will learn what you are talking about. Also, because it already has pre-trained things about dates, as I mentioned in the previous slide, so it already knows that this could be a date. Also, you don't have to add one by one of these definitions. You can just upload a file which contains your training data. The file looks really simple. It's just a JSON where you just define what is the actual text, and you defined what are your entities there and on which character location they are in the string and the length of that. So it will just, you can add a lot of intents this way. Also, it has a really cool thing. Here it has suggest utterances, which means you can, it calls OpenAI to get the utterances from there. You can just simply explain what you would like to be your training data to OpenAI, and OpenAI is going to generate your training data, so you don't even have to bother about training your model. But for this case, I didn't do that. I just asked ChatGPT to generate a couple of utterances for me, and I just in the format of this file, and I just upload it there. So it's really cool. Also, the next slide is you just start your training job. Here, it will finish the training. On the next tab, you have your model there, your model performance, even all the data that you actually would need for analyzing your model. And here you just deploy your model, and it will be available to use in your API. So I hope you got the idea of how simple this is. It's pretty simple for me. It was pretty simple for me to configure and to use, but at the same time, it's really powerful. So all that just goes to show how you can easily create something useful in today's days and age simply because there's AI. Also, I'm just going to mention the task creation and automation because it's not the most important part of this presentation. It's the easiest part of this presentation, but once you capture the conversation and use Azure Speech to convert it into text, you then just apply CLU. CLU will identify your tasks, and with this structured data, you can just simply automate those tasks wherever you want, because it becomes really straightforward as the information is already organized and ready for action. So I can suggest any kind of tools. For example, you can use Selenium framework to automate your web tasks. For example, if your task is, can you order something from Amazon, you can simply automate that. order specific item from Amazon in the amount you want and just execute that task. Some of the tasks are, of course, not still automatable, but probably sometimes in future you can even order the AI to code something for you. So you can also do that. Okay, I'm going to show you how my little POC interacts with Azure CLU. So here, it just asked me to write some text that I want to be processed. So I will just provide some text here. So I created a little conversation in the text format because for the presentation, it wasn't really the good idea to just speak now with someone, but that's the easiest part. So I'm just going to show you how Azure CLU model that I made works. So here it goes. Can you fix the bug in the system by Friday 10 a.m.? Yes, of course. So here is the confirmation, consent intent that I defined there. And can you order the new laptops by Thursday? Sure, I'll do it. Also, could you schedule a meeting with the team tomorrow 9 a.m.? Yes, I'll schedule the meeting. So from this, we expect 3 tasks to be created. Hopefully they are going to be. Okay, so we have 3 tasks. So here in this sentence, it was recognized that this is a development task. Here it was recognized that this is order something task, and here is recognized that schedule a meeting task was mentioned. This is all supposed to be created in Trello board that I created. So let's just see. Okay, here they are. So we can just see what details we also have in this task. So it has a title, it has description, the sentence that's what we were talking about, and it also has the due date. So all the tomorrows and next week and Friday, all those things were also recognized. We can see this one as well. So it also has the sentence that we were talking about. Sorry. And this one too. Okay, so we will continue. But the point of this demo, as I mentioned at the beginning, is to show how it's really simple to create some simple solution to a complex problem nowadays, since we have all the AIs that we need already implemented and pre-trained for us. We can just imagine how powerful AI will be in the future when we start using it more and start figuring out all the things we can do with it. Okay, so we are just going to go through benefits that are most important that I identified for now, but there are actually much more benefits of this app and apps similar to this one. But the most important benefit for me is increased productivity. Now my colleague can focus on working only on his tasks, which is amazing. He no longer has to spend time writing everything down. He can fully focus on the meeting, making sure he's agreeing to the right things, and then execute prioritized tasks without worrying about mixing up that deadline. So he doesn't have to worry about if he agreed to do something tomorrow or day after tomorrow. He can just focus on the meeting, actively participate on it, and then just start our application. The application will listen to him and write down all the tasks and even create them on some task management board. Also, as we build this app, there are a few challenges to tackle. First, we need to ensure privacy and data security to keep user information safe and compliant with regulations. So here, it's important that we identify if there's some data that we shouldn't actually record, that we shouldn't use. We need to present to the user that he's being recorded or things like that. So it's really important to think about privacy. Also, speech recognition accuracy is another challenge, as background noise or unclear speech can lead to task errors. But also, as I mentioned, Azure Speech or any other AI that you can find is really works better than us. So it has a little error rate. that is even better than the error rate that humans make when doing these jobs. So I think we can already rely more on AI than on ourselves. But even with that said, we need to configure our application to work in noisy background environment, or in unclear speech, or any kind of those challenges that can occur. And also we need to make sure that our user keeps natural conversation flow while they use this app, because it's important to not change users' habits when they are on the meeting or speaking with someone. And also it's really important to keep this app fair, because we need to fully solve this problem that always happens when you use some AI. You need to make sure that there is no bias in this model. And we can do that just by simply auditing regularly and using diverse data sets when we train our model. So we also need to go through this, because I have had many ideas while I just started working on this, and when I saw how powerful it is, I fell in love with Azure CLU, and I just wanted to figure out what can also be done in the future for this, and how can we improve this app. And there were a lot of ideas. I'm just going to present a couple of them. So looking ahead, there are some exciting future enhancements for this app. First, we could add multi-language support so more people can use it around the world. Now, imagine having personalized task suggestions based on your past behavior, or even smart prioritization that adapts to how urgent your tasks are. So imagine if we could make something in the background that just learns while you use your app. So it will learn how you use your app, what are the tasks that are more important, what are the tasks that you actually talk most about on those meetings and when you use app. So it can even improve itself by just even prioritizing your tasks for you. So that could be really powerful and cool. And I also already have some ideas how to do that, and it's possible to be done, because Azure CLU already has that ability to learn as you use your model. Also, we could make some kind of offline task management. For example, we could make some UI that will allow user to pre-approve the tasks that are generated. So user can just simply decide on the UI if he wants to use that, if he wants to create that task, if it is something important or it's something that shouldn't be created. Also, we could use the emotion recognition that I also mentioned during presenting the CLU, because that could also make some decision based on the emotion, if the user would accept that to be done also. So with all these upgrades, the app would become even smarter and more context-aware tool to help user manage tasks. So imagine how powerful it would be to have something that is constantly learning based on your behavior, and also something that is pretty much configured to your needs, to your business domain, and to what you actually need to be done on your platform. Also, I did some research on other task management apps, and probably some of you could think, doesn't this already exist? Well, the answer is no, because other apps aren't tailored to your unique needs of your business. So, for example, I'm going to just present some examples so you can figure out what I'm talking about. But if you are a hairdresser and you need a better calendar management tool with all your bookings. So if you use any kind of other app that just already has some kind of AI built in it. So for example, Trello has an AI mic that you can just click on it and say something, and it will create the task. But if you need something like that for your hairdresser salon, you would have to finish the phone call with the customer, then you would have to try to remember everything you agreed on that call. You would have to go back to Trello, click on the mic icon, say something into the mic, say what you just discussed. Even if you said something like hair coloring, the tasks are mostly the types of tasks that are available in nowadays. Words are mostly adjusted to management tasks or, in best case scenario, IT tasks. But they are not adjusted to your business domain. If you have something pretty specific like hair salon, it would not be adjusted to that. So with our app, you can simply just turn it on, make sure it's listening to you. It will handle the scheduling automatically, and everything will be customized to your business. Task name, categories, and all. It's not just a generic app, it's tailored to your business needs. It's simply a solution. It's really a simple solution to your complex problem that you can find in your business domain. So it's pretty important to think about, nowadays that we have this option, to think about how we can actually adapt everything, every solution to our needs, and we don't have to adapt to the solutions. Okay. So that would be all for my presentation. I would like to thank you all for listening, and I hope you learned something new. I will go back to the question box just to see if there are any questions. Okay, I have one question, two questions. What about noises? How can AI system effectively process and understand audio conversation when multiple people are speaking simultaneously or in noisy environments? So I mentioned also some of the features that come in Azure Speech or Azure CLU, how it handles the speech really good. But of course, we need to think about if there's something some pre-processing that needs to be done to our audio. For example, if you just record something provided to the app, or the app is just listening to you, there could be some noises that could interrupt the work of the app and make some wrong tasks. But Azure CLU actually has a built-in feature that helps to solve that kind of issue. I'm just going to try to explain how that works. I forgot to explain it in the presentation. It would actually be really good. But so Azure CLU has a similar feature to what, for example, Facebook Messenger already has. So if you had an experience to talk to someone over the Facebook Messenger call, you could notice that there's some kind of filtering of the background noise. So for example, if you are talking to someone and there's two people on the other line, if the first person is closest to the device, what that person is saying will be pretty much more heard than what is the person in the background talking. So it will be actually the speech from the person in the background would be fully blocked. It will not transfer at all. So that's something that Azure CLU already has. I'm not sure if any other kind of AIs have something like that, but I think it's available. Some kind of those features are already available, and you can just use them to pre-process your audio to make it as clear as possible so that your AI model can use it successfully without making any errors. I have a question also about security. Okay, so how to improve security for this kind of apps that use AI in real-time conversation? So that is actually a really good question. So it's really important to identify what are the important data that shouldn't be recorded. So there's a general rule: when you use anybody's data, you should definitely think about storing only what you need for your processing in your application. That also applies to AI. You need to make sure that you are storing only things that are just needed for your application. But also, I think there there could be something implemented that, and of course, we could also use Azure CLU for that. We could use, as I said, Azure CLU already recognizes the important parts of conversation. So we could use something like that, train it to recognize, for example, PHI, PAI, or those kinds of data, and to not record that data. So just to exclude that data from the text that you analyzed, to not store it anywhere or something like that. But there are a lot of ideas that we can just use to figure out how we can also use AI for that, or we don't have to use AI. We can simply make some tool that will recognize that and not record that data that shouldn't be recorded. I hope I answered to your questions. If there's anything else, you can also contact us on our Authority Partners page. There are all information that you need to contact us. Also, if you have any other questions regarding AI or something similar to this topic, you can definitely just contact us and we will be happy to help you.